Welcome back. I know, I'm late. I've, I've been AWOL a little bit. As it turns out, even in a state where you regularly get hit by hurricanes, even when a hurricane goes through two other states before it hits you, sometimes things go wrong. In the lovely paradise of western South Carolina, I used to be out towards Charleston, but these days I'm more on the western side where things get annihilated. Um, Yeah, so I haven't had power since Thursday night. They were actually telling me that I wouldn't get it back until Thursday or Friday. And for whatever reason, it came back on like an hour ago. And here we are. So, in the time that I've been missing, some news has dropped for Enlisted. Some really important stuff, too. Stuff that I would have really liked to have covered 3 days ago. But, hurricanes and water and stuff. So, the weapons and vehicles of the Garia update. I know, Gorilla. So, we are getting the 2nd Parachute Regiment with Beretta M38, Germany BR1. It's a new premium squad. And let's see. Deployed to North Africa, Italian submachine gun, bayonet, 20 round mag, quite similar to the Beretta M38A from the tech tree. So I'm guessing that swapping weapons on paratroopers just wasn't very popular internally. That's what I'm getting from this. I feel like they might be worth a pickup because having low BR paratroopers for Germany would be really nice. I do really like the BR range between BR1 and BR3, although I do play a lot of BR5. Um, Having a 20 round submachine gun will be kind of iffy at BR3, but they'll be able to pick up BR3 stuff from their box, I assume. I assume that they learned because they updated several previous boxes. So we'll see. We'll see. Um, if they could swap out their weapons, that would be really nice. I just feel like that's the way to go with these sorts of squads. I think they did an excellent job with the Russian ones. I mean, there were some growing pains at first when they were balancing them, but I think nowadays they're in a pretty good spot. I feel like locking them into a BR1 weapon is a mistake. I feel like they should have either been BR2 or maybe BR3. I think BR2 would have been safe though. Give them like a 30 round magazine submachine gun, something like that, instead of a 20 rounder at BR1. Um, the other thing, and this might actually fit better for an event squad, I think if they were going to do BR1 paratroopers, especially for Germany, they could have modeled them after the early war Fallschirmjäger, where most of their equipment was dropped to them and they dropped with pistols and knives. Um, I think that would have been a way more interesting BR1 paratrooper squad. Like, don't give them primary weapons. Make their box drop a little bit further away than normal, and then when they pick up their box, the loadouts actually give them a full loadout. So if you pick like assault, you get like SMGs and you get the machine guns, or like if you pick the sniper squad, you get like bolt action rifles and snipers and the radio guy. You get the idea. Um, just make them again. I feel like it's complex enough that it might be a premium squad, but it's esoteric enough or like weird enough that it might be better as an event squad. But if I was going to make a BR1 squad, that's how I would have done it. Um, Although I guess you could make the argument that that's the perfect flex BR1 because you can just make whatever they pick up from their box come at any BR. So, you know, maybe I'm just an idiot. All right, moving on. The USSR is getting the KV-2 1939 at BR4. So, the 1940 modification, which is a premium tank, this does not have the machine gun in its turret. Boo-hoo. So, don't get me wrong, having a machine gun with the long reload does make the other KV-2 appealing. However, I feel like 90% of why I want a KV-2 is to blap people with a big ass derp gun. And yeah, it's a big ass derp gun. So this will find use in my lineups. I'm looking forward to it. It does mean that I probably won't get the premium one. Up until now, like I want to get the premium KV2, but I don't really want to like pay full price because I know that they go on sale from time to time, and I have a lot of premiums as it is, so it's not like I need the premium for being a premium. Um, so for me, normally I think it would be smarter to wait on something like the KV2, but now that this one's out, I just don't see the point. Um, that machine gun probably is really, really useful because I imagine this is quite a long reload time. I know I messed around with it at one point on the test server, but I can't remember what the reload was like. I think it's long though. It's a KV2. I can't imagine it not being long. So this is a good addition. I like this. This will get used for me. Then we have the PPSH 41 Obras BR3 for guerrillas. So this weapon you'll also unlock a Soviet squad with soldiers of the new guerrilla class. You know, I really, really like Obras weapons. They're really fun. There's a running meme between my friend Trey and I where Trey likes to include other people in what he does. He'll get on like Tarkov, for example, and he'll be like, "Hey Drew, what do I use?" Obras. Always Obras. He never does it because it's an Obras, but one day, if I say Obras enough times, maybe he will pull out the Obras Mosin. And this is cool, but Obras Mosin 1. Please, please, I want my pocket Mosin. This is going to be cool, though. Recoil's probably going to be a bitch, but that's going to be cool. Initially when I saw it, I was wondering if it was going to be for Germany as like a captured weapon, but I wasn't looking at the handle. All right, so looking at America, we're getting an A20 with M8s. That'll be a neat addition. The A20 with the 500 pounders is pretty decent. They drop in pairs, though. I kind of wish they dropped one at a time so you had 4 drops, but, so be it. The airframe of the A20 is kind of iffy. If you're not careful, you can rip the wings off when you try to bank out after you've done your drop. So there's that. It might be less of an issue with rockets, though, because you might not need as extreme of a bank to not get your ass shot off. M8 rockets are kind of iffy, though. At BR4, I don't know. I feel like there are better choices at BR4. Plus, with America, if you have access to BR5, I feel like America BR5, if you're going to play the air game, is just more worthwhile. But it's not a bad addition. Maybe you like A20s. They are pretty cool. What else? The Ithaca 37 at BR2. It's a well-known American pump-action shotgun with a 7-round tubular magazine. You'll also unlock an Australian squad that are guerrillas. That'll be exciting. Love seeing more different groups represented in the game. There's a lot of really cool options for them to add for guerrillas. We talked about that a little bit in my guerrilla video. And there are other Australian squads in the game, but it's cool to see more of them. I hope we keep seeing this. In fact, I really hope that we get like a soldier selector so that eventually we'll be able to make squads for whatever nation and whatever coalition we're playing. So if we're playing like the Allies, have a drop down where you can be like, I want to be American, Polish, French, British, North African from any of the various colonies there, or any of the Pacific holdings, or any of the like occupied territories with overseas colonies that went and joined up with other nations, or any of the occupied zones. Just stuff like that. It'd be cool. Moving on, Germany's getting the Martyr 3 at BR3. Nice little AT gun. Let's Let's see. The gun on this tank destroyer is also captured. The Pak-36 is a modernized version of the Soviet 76mm F-22. So that'll be fun. Captured things are cool. We're also getting the Martyr 3H at BR3, and this one's getting a Pak-40. This one will probably see more play, let's be real. Pak-40s are nice, but it's cool that we're getting this captured Czechoslovakian PZ-38T with a Russian gun slapped on top. It'll be cool. They're also getting the PPSH-41 Obrez. Yay, more Obrez, although this one's got a different handle. To be honest, alright. Do you prefer California compliant PPSH, or do you prefer Ghetto Blaster? I think I prefer Ghetto Blaster. I just feel like it would be more comfortable to hold. I feel like this works when you've got a stock behind it. I feel like it's going to be less effective for recoil management, but maybe I'm wrong. Ah, we're finally getting it. Okay, the duck. So this is really exciting. It's got a 75mm cannon, similar to the Pak-40. Okay, you lost me. What this needs, right here, they're talking about its armor-piercing shell can pierce more than 100mm of armor. Whoop-de-fucking-do. All right, so it's going to be great against tanks. Don't get me wrong. That's a cool aspect. What they need for this plane to, like, really stand out, and maybe they make a premium or an event version. Maybe they just modify this one. They need to give you an alternating belt where every other shell is armor piercing and then HE. That way, if you want to shoot at a tank, you can go pop pop, and at least one of those shells is going to be AP, and you might be able to do something to the tank. And when you see infantry, you can go pop pop, and one of those shells is going to be HE, and you can kill some infantry. See? I mean, it would be nice if they would just give us a belt selector in game, but I don't think they're going to do that. So I feel like all of these cannon armed planes need mixed belts because of that. Because this has been an issue in the past with other planes that have had cannons, where they're either ineffective at like air superiority because they've got a big donkey dick cannon, but it doesn't do enough because it doesn't explode, or it can't deal with infantry, or it like can't penetrate tanks. And it's just like a case by case basis, depending on whether or not it has AP belts or HE belts, and I feel like a lot of these issues can be cleared up if they just give them mixed belts. I mean, some of the issues would be cleared up too if they would just put on the plane, like somewhere when you buy it, what kind of ammo it has, so you know before you take it into battle. Because even then, you could at least plan for using it in the right situations without having to like test it out yourself. But, you know, here we are. Finally, Japan is getting the Browning Auto 5. We've used this before if you've played America. They have the Browning Auto 5. It's not the most incredible weapon in the game, truth be told, because of it kind of specialized short range, you know, fighting in small areas. But as Japan, you can guarantee you're on the Japanese maps, and there are areas on the Japanese maps where you can really make use of this. So I don't think it's a bad addition. I have a whole squad with them as the Americans, and I've had a pretty good time with them. I don't pull them out all the time, but from time to time they're fun to use. Let me look at news just in case there's anything else we missed. So they were testing it. Obviously, I wasn't around for that. You know, it's past 1300 UTC, I think. I'll have to look. If it's not, then I'll try to get on and get a little bit of that, but I'm pretty sure it's past that. Animations are always nice. Okay, replacement tanks. This I've been meaning to talk about this. This actually seems kind of cool. So basically, my understanding is if the enemy has a higher BR tank, then you'll be able to bring in more lower BR tanks. So, like right here, in BR 1 to 3 battle, if you only have a BR 1 tank, after an opponent spawns with a BR 3 tank, you'll have the opportunity to switch to a... Oh, okay, so you'll be able to switch. Okay, that helps to read. Reading is good. So BR 3 to 5, if your opponent uses a BR 5 tank and your tank is at least 2 BR lower, you will have access to a BR 4 tank. So that's cool. know why. I think it was one of my friends who was telling me about this before I read it. For whatever reason, I thought that you would just get like an extra tank on your team, but now that I actually read this, that's cool. Um, yeah, so basically you'll have the option to swap tanks. Now, I'm curious exactly how this is going to work. Um, Obviously it says that if the other tank gets destroyed, then you won't have that option. So I'm curious if you're going to spawn into your BR1 tank, and then it's going to give you the option after you spawn in to swap into a higher BR tank, or if you're just going to be able to spawn into it from the spawn screen. Regardless, we'll see when we see. Um, it's a neat idea, though. It'll at least help, I hope, alleviate all the Stewart spam in BR5 games. You would not believe the amount of BR5 games I've gone into as both America and Germany and seen like BR1 Stewarts rolling around. It's absolutely insane. But this seems cool. I like the idea of it. Plus, it lets you play with more stuff, and if it's giving you the choice, I like that. Because there are probably situations where you might want to use something lower for a specific reason. Like, for example, if your whole lineup is BR5 and then you pull out like a flamethrower Stewart and you want to roll around and torch people, it's not like there's a high BR tank with flamethrowers on it. And I understand it's going to be a really easy target to kill, but if you get it into the right place, and it is pretty mobile, you can do a lot of damage with it. So, I think that one gets a pass for me. I can see why you would want to keep it. So let me know what you think down below. All of this stuff coming looks pretty good. I'm excited for it. Expect videos about most of it once it comes out. Um, I still need to put up my video about the MG39. I didn't get to edit it because, yay, rain and water and wind and whatnot. I also need to actually get off my ass and finish researching several things in the Japanese tech tree so I can talk about them. I've really been slacking on Japan the last few months. Um, but soon, TM. So get out there, kick ass, take names, and win your games.